The purpose of today's lesson is to figure out the rate of change in a linear relationship. Okay, so we're going to explore and investigate the rate of change in linear relationships below. The graph below shows the distance a cat is from his bowl of milk over time. Which sentence is a good match for the graph? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read each sentence and then I'm going to draw the line that I think would correspond to that. The cat was 12 feet away from the milk and ran toward it, reaching it after 4 seconds. Okay, so let's take a look at that. He's 12 feet away, so this is his starting point. Starting point is 12. And ran toward it, reaching it after 4 seconds. So he's going to be 0 distance away after 4 seconds. So this line would look like this, because after 4 seconds he's going to be at the milk. Okay? Now let's take a look at another one. The cat was 4 feet away from the milk. Okay, so he's starting at 4 feet away and ran toward it, reaching it after 12 seconds. So 12 seconds, he's going to be 0 away from that milk, so that would be this line. So obviously those two don't correspond to this line that's given. So let's keep trying. The cat ran away from the milk at a rate of 3 feet per second. So he's starting at the milk, and let me get a different color, and he's running toward the milk at 3 feet per second. So he's going up 1, 2, 3, and over 1. 1, 2, 3, and over 1. 1, 2, 3, over 1. So the rate is 3 over 1. So obviously this is the correct answer. So we'll put a star by that one. But let's keep going because we want to be familiar with what each one of these mean. All right, let's go green. The cat ran away from the milk at a rate of 4 feet per second. So this is green. So he was at the milk again, but this time he's 4 feet per second. 1, 2, 3, 4 over 1. 1, 2, 3, 4 over 1. So obviously his rate is steeper, so he's going faster, which makes sense because he's 4 feet per second. And lastly, a good color, is the cat was 12 feet away from the milk, so his starting point is 12, and ran away from it at a rate of 4 feet per second. So 1, 2, 3, 4, well, obviously it's off our graph, 4 over 1, so he's way up here. This is that line. Okay, so this is the correct answer, letter C. But I just wanted you to be familiar with what all this means, okay? Write everything you can say about the cat and the distance he is from the milk during this time. All right, so he starts at 0, which is the bowl of milk. Bowl of milk. Okay, that's something we have observed. After 4 seconds, he is 12 feet away. He is 12 feet away. So he's going away from the milk. His rate of change, well, let's say it this way. He travels, let's make it more specific to the problem. He travels at a rate of 3 feet per second. 3 feet per second. Okay. Create a table which tells the story. Alright, I'm going to get it started for you and then you can finish. This is his time, because I know this is X and this is X, so I can just fill that in, and we have to tell what the label is. And then we have our distance, and once again we need a label, because we don't know if it's miles or what. So this is feet. Right? Let's start with 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, go ahead and fill in this other part and see if you, and I'll fill mine in, and then let's see if we agree. All right, did you agree? 0, 3, 6, 9, 12. All right. Is this a proportional relationship? Well, let's see what the rate of change is. Is it consistent? Yes, they're all plus 3. So, yes. The proportional constant is 3 feet per second. So we're using a lot of different words here. Proportional constant, we have rate of change, that's another one is slope. These are all synonyms. Find the unit rate in the story. Well, the unit rate is over 1, so it's 3 over 1. So the unit rate is 3 feet per second. Okay? Let's take a look at our next problem. We get to sketch a graph for each of the 4 stories from number 1 on the previous page, which you didn't choose. Okay, well, I already did this for you, so what I would like you to do is I still want you to sketch it. Try not to look on the previous page at the answers that I gave. And I want you to label the points. Label the points. And you have to label the story. So let's just say this is story A, this is going to be B, and then D and E on these next ones. Okay? So this is something for you to finish. D and E. Okay? Let's take a look at this next one. A baby was 9 feet from the edge of the porch. He crawled toward the edge for 6 seconds. Then his mother picked him up a few feet before he reached the edge. Circle the graph below that matches this story. Okay, 9 feet. So 9 feet. What do you think that would be? Well, that's his distance. Okay, he crawled toward the edge for 6 seconds. So this is going to be his time. Which one do you think this matches? Mother picked him up a few feet before he reached the edge. I want you to come into class with this one completed. See what you come up with. I'm curious to see what you'll find. Okay, those are your hints. Alright, this next one. Okay, the graph and table below describe a runner's distance from the finish line in the last seconds of the race. Which equation tells the same story as the table and graph? Use the ordered pairs given in the table to test your chosen equation and explain your answer. Okay, so we have some choices here. We've got 4 choices. Well, if I'm looking at this graph, what do we know is happening with the rate of change? If it's going this way, it's going downhill left to right. So right off the bat, I'm going to notice that it has a negative rate of change. Negative rate of change. And remember, the rate of change is the number in front of the x. So I'm looking at these numbers in front of x, and they should be negative. Okay, so this is out, and that's out. So now I'm down to these 2. Okay, well, I need a rate of change. So how much is it going down, and how much is it going over? What is the rate of change? This is 42, rate of change. Alright, maybe we can't use that. Let's go over this way. What is happening here from 42 to 35? Well, it's decreasing by 7. What's happening here? Oh, I'm seeing a pattern. Aha! So what have I found? I found my rate of change right there. So this has to be the correct answer. And I can verify this because they said use the ordered pairs in the table and explain your choice. Well, remember we talked about the y-intercept being the number? So we could rewrite this as y equals negative 7x plus 42. This is normally the correct way. Remember, this is the number that is on the y, this is the y-intercept. And we also chose to look at when x is 0. That's another reason that we know this is the y-intercept. So we have verified that in many different ways. Okay? Create a table for this graph. Write a story for this graph. All right? And then which equation matches your story. So I'm going to let you finish this up. This is number 9, so on your own. And I also gave you number 6 and 7. These are all on your own. 6, 7, and 9 on your own. Bring those to class, completed tomorrow. This concludes our lesson on rate of change in a linear relationship.